What's up, family? I'm Juan Castillo, and when I'm on social media, my favorite show to watch is the Don't Shoot the Messenger weekly podcast. Chris G, Professional Sutton, Rucker Report delivers sports the way it's supposed to be, real and authentic. So get ready to be entertained. My boys are ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast. I'm your boy, Professional Sutton.
And I'm your boy, Chris G.
And it's your boy, the Rucker Report, a.k.a. Jerry.
Ready? This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished.
This is Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast.
X about me, X about me.
With Professional Sutton.
You already know.
Chris G.
My homie.
And the Rucker Report.
My family, what up?
They for real.
All straight with no chaser.
Let the games begin.
Let's go. Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast.
All right, fellas. Okay, let's see. Let's see how we doing here. So Chris is gonna be our point man. This is our first time doing this through OBS. So let's see what we're working with. Thanks again for tuning into another edition of Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast. I'm your boy, Professional Sutton.
And I'm your boy, Chris G.
Now, Chris, were you able to hear that when I was playing it?
Not here.
Okay.
No,
but were you able to hear it on the actual YouTube?
YouTube.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure. So if y'all could just send that link, I'll be much appreciated. You know what I mean?
I see.
Okay. I see. Right, here we go. Again, y'all gonna be seeing it a little later. If you look at your phone, you're gonna be seeing it. Right now, I got the sponsor up. I want to thank one of our sponsors, 94.3 WYBC.
The rhythm of the city.
Yes, sir. And our other sponsor, I had to get all the pictures and paperwork. Some legalities on that. Just gotta let her, I just gotta let her touch me. Then we all set. But so fellas, man, how you liking the new look? Do it look good? Is it aesthetically pleasing? What y'all liking, man?
It looked good, man.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It kind of looked like our last dance days.
Yes.
Our last dance days is what it looked like. Recap show.
But it's actually better because now I could, have all you guys. I ain't tell me to have my mask on. I can have y'all actually on the video now. So, you know what I mean? And plus, if you look, everybody got their own scene. So I'm going to jump right into it, man. Boston and the Nets, there's some issues there. It looks like somebody threw something at Kyrie, a water bottle. But then,
Watch that, Chris.
But then, Kyrie, went into the middle and stepped on Mr. Lucky. What you guys think about that, man? I'll start with Chris, man. What you thinking about that, man?
Well, look, man. It was I knew Kyrie wasn't going to have two bad games in a row. That was going to be an anomaly. Like I said, Jason Tatum dropped 40, and they still like they have to be so. He has to literally be a 50-point scorer on top of everybody else. On top of everybody else. Got to be competitive with the competitive. Friday was cute. And, we made fun of Larry. That was aberration.
Right.
That was not the real story. So
okay.
I gotta say I'm not surprised. I'm gonna wrap this series up. They play tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to get Milwaukee. We're going to get to see. We're going to get to see if the Nets kind of fit some of the defensive liabilities that they have in the regular season. We're also going to get to see if that amazing switch that people turning on. On so that they route Milwaukee like the way they route Boston. We're going to see because they got the talent. They are far way more talented than Milwaukee. So let's see if they actually do what we think they know they can do.
So, Ruck, I know we were talking earlier when we had a little Crap Town. Shout out to Crap Town in Hamden. We were talking about Boston and Kyrie, and our thoughts and how we felt about that. What is your thoughts on Kyrie, real quick, and then we'll talk about Boston getting beat down, gentleman's sweep. But the whole thing with Kyrie, is it racial, or is it like they just don't like Kyrie?
I don't think you can classify it as something that's just Kyrie. I think you have to say that that's Boston. And that's Boston when it comes to anybody that comes into Boston to play their hometown team. It would have been the same. I don't know if you got something thrown at you with the Patriots, with the Bruins, with the Celtics, you want to get that same type of energy. I think it was par for the course. I think something's different because I think we're in the different times that players or just aren't going to stand for certain treatment. So I think Kyrie's response was appropriate. I do agree with some of the comments that were made by Durant and other people, especially Matt Barnes had took the IG yesterday and said something about the NBA really needs to step in and clean this stuff up, because it is going to lead to something else like we saw in Detroit, the malice in the palace. Because God forbid if that would have hit him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the NBA has to look at it from a standpoint that these fans are potentially putting their product in danger. So how could you not take better care of your product? And I think that's the sad part, because what you're telling the players is that you're important, but we know where our bread is buttered, and that could be in ticket sales. So it's a slippery slope. I think they really need to clean it up and do something different with it.
Definitely. It's and again, fellas, I gotta keep switching back from the volume and all that, but we'll get it together. But yeah, it is sad, and I think that we got a lot of crazy fans out there, and I think people don't realize how crazy a lot of these fans are. You know what I mean? Like, these fans, they hold their team in high regards, and the way Kyrie plays victim, especially in Boston, we talked about how Kyrie has some issues in Boston. You know what I mean? We talked about how Kyrie left Boston, and these fans are still pissed. They are pretty upset. Now, throwing something at someone, that's a little different, but yeah, that was tough. Now, with that being said, I just feel that Adam Silver is going to do a good job. I think he's going to, really regulate these things and really get stuff done. Because, like I was saying earlier, we just had a whole pandemic. And we had a pandemic in where nobody could watch nothing. No one could go to games. And, we are still in a pandemic, people. They can say, yo, listen, nobody is coming in. We only going to have 20 people. That's it. So they really need to be mindful of how, they go at this, because, it's still not over. It's still not over. And, like you were saying, like, we got to protect the product. We got to protect the brand, because if this continues, then what's going to happen is it is going to be a full outright, and it's going to be disgusting. It's going to be crazy. So,
a little choppy on YouTube.
Okay. So what is it looking like? It's just like stopping and going?
Yeah, stopping and going. It's it's consistent, but a little choppy.
Okay. All right. Choppy. Well, on our end, it looks good on my end, but I have it at recording. But like I said, we just want to see what it's looking like. If we got to take the precautionary measures where we just do it over the phone, or we just go back to StreamYard, and so be it. But right now, it's looking good to me, and we'll get it together. Like I said, I'm switching through the scenes. Everybody looking good. Chris got his own scene. Ruck got his own scene. Can you hear it good, Chris? Sound all right? I know it's like a delay.
No, it's not a delay. I'm just trying to hear it.
Okay.
Well, the sound is good.
Okay.
sound is good. The sound is consistent. It's even throughout. It's just the picture that's a little starting stoppy.
Okay. All right.
That's a-
Okay. All right. How it look now though? What is talking? Like I said, yo, this is our first time doing this. You know what I mean? We're gonna see if we're gonna continue with it or if we need to, get rid of it.
It'd be nice if we could see it more on the book.
Yeah. Don't worry. 24 hours, babe. We got this. We got
Yeah,
this.
you must have did some wild shit.
Nah, I had just made it crazy. Like, I thought it was funny, but Facebook didn't find it funny.
Hey, Chris, he ain't wait for the 2 minutes.
Nope, he ain't wait for the 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
He ain't wait for the 2 minutes at all.
At all. Early.
Well, we
Hey,
definitely in here though.
I did want to bring one point, and I know Chris gonna feel me on this. I know you're gonna feel me on this too.
Yeah, go ahead.
If the Trae Young, Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving, or Ja Morant situation happens to Luka Doncic, what are we looking at?
Hey, hold on. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Say that again.
He said
So
if it was Luka.
If Luka's people was in Utah and they getting screamed on, they getting cussed at, they getting stuff thrown at them, right? If Luka was in Madison Square Garden and he gets spit on, if he gets popcorn dumped on him in Philly, if he gets a water bottle thrown at him in Boston, what are we looking at?
I don't know. That's tough to say, right? Because I don't think Luka's a bigger star than Kyrie. Definitely bigger than Ja and Trae. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know where I sit with that, right? My initial reaction isn't that they do more because Luka White.
Right.
That's not my initial reaction.
Okay.
It's definitely not that. I think the NBA is trying to walk a real tightrope with fans because you don't want to alienate the fans.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, because fans are fickle, but then at the same time, you can't let them do whatever they want to do to the stars of your game. Can't let that happen either. And I got to give Joy Taylor credit because she keeps
get all the credit. She got all the credit.
Y'all gonna keep doing this stuff until you catch the right one.
Yep.
And the security ain't gonna be able to stop them. And then all that tough guy stuff is gonna go out the window. Cause let me tell you something. Russell Westbrook might seem small on TV.
Exactly. But the average person.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook is all a 6'3", 218. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Solid. You're going to see him with the average run-of-the-mill 5'8", 5'9" dude. They ain't going to be pretty. So, I think the NBA is in a tough, like you were saying, I think they're in a tough spot. Now, I think they need to lean heavily more to the players for a couple reasons. From a business standpoint, you got to protect your investment. Number two, second of the business, they get most of their money from them TV contracts. Just like in the bubble, they still met their obligations to be on TV, and that's where most of the fans are anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You're only putting about, even at full capacity, you're only putting about 17,000, 18,000 in an arena. You know what I mean? So, I think, they need to be cautious. They need to, I think what they did in Boston is the right thing, though. Get that guy arrested, get him out of there, make an example of him. That's the best way to go about it.
Yes. And charge.
Then ban him right after.
And then get him charged.
Well,
he was actually charged with felony today.
Yeah.
Good. And prosecuted.
Yeah, get him prosecuted. Don't let his rich uncle or his daddy friend from work pull some strings because he's a good kid. He just made a bad mistake. Yeah, don't let none of that happen.
Nah.
Get his ass.
Because, like I was saying earlier, these are still human beings. Even though they're athletes, even though they're entertaining, but at the end of the day, like, you wouldn't do that to a monkey at a zoo. You wouldn't do that to a giraffe. So don't do it to people that are making, even though they're making millions of dollars, but again, they still got to go home to their family. And like, don't take for granted that, You know, they are here to make sure, again, literally to entertain us. Like, so don't get that like that's still a privilege. Just because you paid to watch them, don't mean that they got to kiss your ass. That does not mean that. You still got to respect them. You know what I mean? You still have to make sure that they are okay. And you throwing stuff like, okay, if now we know how Cleveland get down. You know, they throw stuff on the field. It gets crazy. But at some point, you got to relax. You can talk, scream, say whatever, but within context. You could say, KD, you suck. Your hairline, you nappy. Okay, cool. But when you start calling people racial slurs, throwing stuff on the court and on the field, like that's just crossing the line way too much. Way too much.
Listen, the other thing too to take into consideration is that the NBA does not want this to turn into the overseas game.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to turn this into international play, because in international play, how they get down, I mean, you've heard of it. Batteries being thrown, people running out of places, and certain things. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I agree. And let's hope that it doesn't happen, because for us, it's not enjoyable. Because guess what? If they're throwing stuff at the players, imagine what they're going to do to someone that's coming to watch the game from the opposing team. You know what I'm saying? Imagine what's going to happen when they're doing it to the opposing player. Like you said, Chris, like we cool guys, but you ain't going to spit on me.
No, sir.
You ain't spitting on me. Now we got a problem. Now I'm going to throw your ass off the goddamn Raptors. And hope you make it.
You got to catch the right one. You got to catch the right one that don't need no sponsorships. That's going to get their money regardless. That's a veteran that is already toward the end of his career. That's like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think of a good one.
David West. If that happened some years ago.
Udonis Haslem.
David West.
I was just thinking that. Udonis Haslem.
Yes,
yeah.
Do that against you, DC all wrong. Do that against you, DC all wrong.
Yeah. And you know what? Like I said, it's crazy because it's gonna take that. And then you know what's gonna be plastered? Oh my God, look at these savages. Like, nah, we told y'all, stop playing. We told y'all a long time ago, stop playing. And y'all didn't want to listen. Now look what happened.
Listen, an example sometimes needs to be made.
That's
so
true.
That people understand that there's real life out here. Now look, you know, I'm not condoning or advocating for violence. I'm just saying somebody might wake up that day and choose violence. And you need to be careful, because it's real out here. It's what keeps society running in real life, right?
Yeah.
Because people don't do that type of stuff in real settings.
No, they don't.
Normally, right? Because you don't know that other person, so you don't know what could come back at you, so you don't do it. Right? So, you know, I think, you know, everybody think life is lived on Instagram and Twitter and online when you're playing games where you can hide behind some, you know, anonymity. Not in real life, you can't.
Nope. For real.
Hey, Chris, what Zebo say back in the day? Bullies get bullied.
Bullies get bullied from where I'm from.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's true. That's so true. Again, that's where we from. Like, your toughest guy get his ass beat on any given day.
Any given day.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, wasn't no bullies where we grew up.
Nah, no, it really wasn't.
Seen as a bully. Because anybody, I mean, there was people that you go, yo, man, you probably should fuck with him, but like they can still get it.
Yeah. Right.
They can still get it.
Yeah, I don't know how you do in the suburbs, but that's that. Oh my God, he was a neighborhood. It was no neighborhood bully. He was older. He was bothering kids. Somebody caught his ass, and now he's on the straight and narrow. Simple as that. That's how that usually went. Yeah, you know, he ain't no sucker.
I used to watch those TV shows and movies, and there'd be a bully. I'd be like, yo, why is there never a bully around? I would just love to put a bully in this place. you never find a bully.
Because that's fake. That's why. That's fake.
I won't say it's fake. It's just not where we from.
Yeah, not ever from. Again, if you don't know, you are watching the Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast. You know, we trying something new here. Like Chris said, it's a little glitchy, but we get into it though. We get into it. You know, it looks okay, not too bad. Hey, Rock, I don't know if you checking it out on YouTube. But we'll see. We'll see what it's looking like. Now, our next topic, we were talking about the 6 Laker legends. We talking about the 6 Laker legends. If you don't know, that's well, I won't call him a legend now because he just started playing for them. LeBron James, Wilt Chamberlain, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal, and of course the one and only Mr. Kobe Bryant. So the question was, who would you have coming off the bench? And I said Wilt Chamberlain. And Ruck, I believe you said Wilt Chamberlain as well.
Mm-hmm.
I know you watched him play live. I'm sorry, I had to.
I know it was coming anyway, yo.
I had to.
I know how you get down.
And Chris, you said you have Shaq coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Now, why would you have Shaq coming off the bench? Again, I'm not, no right or wrong answer, but I was just curious because I wanted to save it for the air. That's why I didn't ask.
Two things. One, I don't think LeBron is or will ever be a Laker legend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Okay, I could agree with that.
I could agree with that too.
I could agree with that.
He's gonna be a Cavalier legend, Miami legend, but I don't think he'll be a Laker. That's not when you think of his career. You're not gonna think, unless he run off like 4 in a row with the Lakers. You ain't gonna think of LeBron with the Lakers. You're gonna think of LeBron probably more as a Cavalier than anything. Yeah. But I digress. 2, Shaq is the least versatile of all of those players. And it's not that Shaq isn't great. Shaq is great. He's dominant, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But even with that being said, you could put Kareem and Wilt could both interchange at power forward and center. I'm talking about in today's game.
Okay.
They're both athletic enough and versatile enough to, be a power forward and a center with switches and all that stuff. Shaq can't do that. Shaq is a center. Shaq is a back to the basket center. At least we know Kareem had the sky hook. He could hit that thing. He could hit that thing then in the 3-point line if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And, Wilt was just so, he would be the modern day big that you want, right?
Yeah.
So tall, athletic, agile. He would be perfect. So that's the only reason I was bring Shaq off the bench, because Shaq is just a traditional center in every sense of the word. And if we were projecting this into today's game, I would want those 5 on the court and Shaq coming in. Now, granted, Shaq's still going to dominate, but just from a versatility standpoint, that's what I would want.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. All right. Now, Ruck, why did you choose Wilt and still Chamberlain?
Well, I chose Wilt just because I looked at it and I said, okay, what would be the best fit for the lineup? And if you notice, the only true shooter that would be available to kind of space the floor would be Kobe, right? So I said, you would get everything, the quintessential point guard that you would need in Magic. He would still have enough of the size to pose a problem for opposing point guards. But then again, the other thing with Magic is you had to worry about his defense. So I definitely went with Kobe and LeBron to back him up, because you're talking about 2 of the most athletic wings that played the game and 2 solid defensive players. I chose Kareem. I would say Kareem at the 4 and Shaq at the 5, because again, Kareem was an excellent defender. He could be a big in today's game. The hook shot was unstoppable, just like Chris said, and Shaq for his dominance. I picked Wilt because Wilt would be able to come in and spell either Kareem or Shaq, and they wouldn't lose anything. They would actually gain more defensively and especially rebounding with Wilt. And then offensively, too, just how Wilt played the game, there wasn't anything that you could do with him either. So I just thought again, it just made a better fit with Wilt coming off the bench. I saw some people say LeBron coming off, but I just didn't. I don't know how that would work because you would still need everything that LeBron gives. And then shout out to Chris again because I think it's premature to kind of call him a Lakers legend.
Yeah, definitely.
He's only been there 3 years?
Yeah.
So
and 1 year he was hurt, and then plus 1 year he was really hurt. So
yeah, so he hasn't really had enough time. But I will say this: that would be a formidable team, man. I mean, something that it would have to be a super team that would compete with that. You know.
Now, since we're talking about a super team, right? And we love to use that word. And again, Chris, I'm gonna use some of your audio as clickbait, of course, just to let you know. Because people not gonna hear, Shaq is not dominant. You know what they're gonna hear? They're gonna hear, well, Shaq is not good. Shaq can't play. That's what they're gonna hear. That's what they're gonna hear. But we all know that's false. What's starting five, or what's another team that you think could go toe to toe with these Laker legends, or Laker stars?
Another team?
Yeah. When you thinking of a team, like what team you think got a good shot against this team?
Oh, I know. I got one right off the bat.
Warriors. Warriors. All-time Warriors.
Okay.
So we got Steph. You can put KD in that mix. You can put Wilt again in that mix, a younger Wilt.
Okay.
You can put Rick Barry in that mix. Obviously, you can put Clay. You can put Mully, Mitch, Tim, Chris.
Oh, Don DeMarco.
You got some. Listen, the Lakers team is better. I want to make that clear. The Lakers team is better, but if I'm going through it all time, they got the most, stars that I would feel comfortable with having. I mean, for me, Chicago.
I was about to say that. I was about to ask.
That's where I'm going. I'm going there.
My thing with Chicago is, I don't even feel like there's really an all-time Chicago team. It's just, the Bulls where Jordan was there.
No, because they got Derrick Rose.
Let me go there.
I disagree, but go ahead, please.
So, I say Chicago because, well, it's two teams. I go Chicago first, and then I would say San Antonio as well. So, Chicago, because you would get that, you could take that 96 Bulls team, right? And you could do like Chris said, all time. So you get Pippen, Jordan, Kukoc, Rodman, Harper. I would do Bill Cartwright. I liked him there. I would take Joakim Noah. I would take a young Derrick Rose. I would
Gibson.
take even as a float on the bench. I would take a young and focused Ben Gordon, and Elton Brand on that team. So I think Chicago would have enough to compete and make it hard. And the one thing that Chicago could do is stretch the floor against a Lakers team like that, because they have to, all that size, they would have to come out and play. Even if, say, Chicago went to a small ball lineup, which you could do, even say, you could have put Rodman at the 5, you could put Kukoc at the 4, Scotty at the 3, Mike at the 2, and Derrick Rose at the 1. They got to come out and play. And that's a lot of athleticism, a lot of speed. The San Antonio team, I think, would be good too, because you have the obvious with Tim and David and Manu and Tony. I would like a young Sean Elliott on that team. I would like
Rodman,
a young and athletic George Gervin on that team. Of course, Rodman. You can get a tough Avery Johnson on that team that poses a good threat as a point guard. I mean, late in his career, but I think he was still formidable. You had Spencer Hayward that played there.
Who taking it back?
So it was a lot of good, solid teams. But I really love, I think, what the the matchup problems, just like Golden State, like Chris said, but I think the matchup problems that Bulls team could have would also be a great thing. And listen, a wild card, like a wild card team could be a Houston. You know, you get a Houston with Hakeem, with Kenny Smith, with Sam Cassell, with Robert Ory, Otis Thorpe, and say then you start to throw in a James Harden.
Otis
You
Thorpe,
know,
wow.
You get Clyde.
You throw in a James Harden, you throw in a Yao, you throw in a Tracy McGrady.
The franchise.
Well, here's the thing, right?
That becomes a different series too.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if that's the case, we could throw in Portland. I mean, then you could get your Bill Waltons in there, especially the year where he won, you know, the MVP, and then you could get your Rasheeds, and you could get your, you know, your Steve Smiths, your Damon Stoudemires, your
Brandon Roy,
DJ, your Brandon Roy, LaMarcus Aldridge. Here's my problem, though. Here's my problem with every team that we talked about.
You can't forget Sam Bowie.
Sam Bowie, come on.
Shut up.
But here's my problem. Here's my problem with all of the teams that we discussed other than the Warriors. Every person on that Lakers squad, you talking Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer, no doubt. When I think about the other teams, like the Bulls, you really got Jordan, Scottie, and Rodman. After that, as far as Hall of Famers, it's debatable with everybody on that Bulls squad.
Yeah.
Now, I think the Spurs are a little better. I mean, obviously, George Gervin, Hall of Famer. David, Timmy. I believe Manu will be, and I believe Tony will be.
Tony will be.
But when I compare them to that Lakers squad, I just don't think, you know, there's different rooms in the Hall of Fame house. And David and Timmy could be in some high rooms. I don't think the other guys are in high rooms.
Okay.
I just don't think they are. So that's why I went, and I would say the same thing about Portland. Portland is some definite Hall of Famers, but, you know, there's levels. As to anything, there's levels. So as far as star power, Hall of Famer, heavy hitters that you could at least say all, I can't really say all-time greats. Other than the Lakers, I mean, the Lakers, is all of them are all-time greats. Every single one of them. Like, every single one of them, even coming off your first one off the bench is an A+.
Yeah. The Lakers could go so, you know, so deep, pause, with where they come from. You know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't even talked about, we just talked about, like, LeBron and them, and I know Chris has mentioned people like Jerry West, but, like, what about an Elgin Baylor? What about a James Worthy? What about a Michael Cooper? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Michael Thompson.
There are
Nick Van Exel.
Nick Van Exel.
But you forgot about the logo. You forgot about the logo, Jerry West.
Nah, he said Jerry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you got Eddie Jones, you got people like that. I mean,
AC Green.
Listen, there was a lot of things, but I do say this, like, I really feel
Paul Gasol. Don't forget Paul Gasol. He's a Laker legend.
Yeah. Lamar Odom can now go into that mix.
Lamar
you know
Odom at his best.
At his best.
Yeah.
Was with the Lakers. At his best was with the Lakers.
He was dope.
So there's a lot, but I think there's some other teams, man, that I think because now we got to look at what the other teams pose in terms of how they would create issues for that team, right? And then you would have to look at, like, say, the bench play and how they would match up with certain people on the bench, because it would be different, man. But like, even think about a team like, say if we did an all-time team like Orlando, right? And say you get a Shaq, a young Penny, you know, even though they clowned him a lot. Listen, Nick Van Exel was a dog. You know, Dennis Scott was a dog. Now you transition to
Dwight Howard.
Tracy McGrady. You can get Dwight. You can get a young Hito Turkoglu. You know, you can get a lot of things. And those teams would pose problems because you're talking about 6'11", 6'10", 6'9", that can not only space the floor, but they can get to the basket and finish. You know, and then throw it up to a Shaq, throw it up to a Dwight. You know, it's a big thing.
Here we go. Two things I want to say. First, we totally disrespected Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics got a lineup that can compete.
Yeah.
And it dawned on me. But I they fall short. So I think the best case scenario of going against, if the Lakers put on a 12-man squad of their all-time best, the best case scenario is you have to take the rest of the NBA against you have to pick the next 12 out of the NBA to compare with the 12 that the Lakers would have. I mean, we talking about a lot of great Lakers. Like I said, Paul Gasol. I don't even know if he make that 12. I don't even know if Paul Gasol make that 12.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to sit down and think about it, but I don't know if he made that 12. So you would have to go everybody that was never a Laker and put them against the all-time Lakers squad. Then you could get, your Michael Jordans, your Larry Birds, your Dr. J's, your Isaiah Thomases, your Kevin Durant's, your Steph Curry. Like, then you could put a team together that go, okay, they can go against this Lakers. Still be close though. Still be close.
It would definitely be, again, like you said, when you talking about, like you said, you're talking about the pedigree of the Lakers and the Celtics. I mean, I think of for me, growing up, when I think of the Lakers, I think of like the Showtime. I think of being the pizzazz. Like, even though the Lakers were hard working, but I think that the Lakers, they had more like superstars and compared to like just you recognizing who the Lakers are. You don't have to ever had really watched basketball much to know who Shaquille O'Neal is, to know who Kobe Bryant is, to know who Kareem or Wilt. You might not even like really are heavy, but you know those names. Whereas with the Celtics, you know that they're champions, but again, they're more of a blue collar team. You got Larry Bird, and then it's whoever you know. But again,
Kevin
McHale, the Robert Parishes,
Dennis Johnson.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Then you throw in Bill Russell and
Maxwell,
right?
All
so,
that stuff.
But
all right, come on, I got a question here.
What's up?
Let's pose this thing. All right, so I think it's fair to say we saying Lakers versus the NBA.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna, since it's 2-1, we'll take it Shaq and Kareem, center and power forward. We got the rest of the NBA. Who we getting to pair off against Shaq and Kareem? Who's the center power forward combo that we're doing to go against the front court?
Hakeem Olajuwon and Tim Duncan.
Timmy and Akeem.
I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah.
I am in agreement with that. Okay, so then we got Kobe, Magic, LeBron in the backcourt. Who is our point guard, shooting guard, small forward to go against them three? Obviously, Jordan. Obviously. Who's the next two?
Kevin Durant.
So Mike, KD,
Steph Curry.
Penny.
Oh yeah, Penny. Yeah. I like Steph though, a little bit.
No. You know what? Mike. Yeah. All right. So here's my dilemma. Mike, I could go Mike, KD, Penny, or I could go Mike, KD, Pippen.
Yeah. I was about to say that. I was about to say you can go Pippen too. What you got, Chris? Cause you over there pondering, man. You over there pondering something crazy. Let me get a close up on that. Boom.
And the crazy thing is this too, Chris. I already know that we leaving out Tracy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That we now have to move Steph over. I understand that James Harden is still available. Kyrie is still available. I understand that. But now if you're talking about what the matchup is gonna look like. Because now with the Lakers backcourt, you have to match size. Pause. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he's on pause because he got the family talking. There we go.
Yo, this is tough. I want to say I'm gonna go a little different. I'm gonna go Mike, Larry, Scotty. I'm gonna go Mike, Larry, Scotty. Because I'm thinking about size, the defensive purposes. I'm thinking about clutchness. I'm gonna go Mike, Larry, Pippen. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go Mike, Pippen, Larry, Timmy, Hakeem.
So I give you one different, just so I can be different, right? I'm gonna go Steph, Mike, Giannis, Hakeem, and Timmy. Actually, no. Take Giannis out. I'm gonna play it like this: Steph, Mike, KG, Timmy, and Hakeem.
KG.
Let's play it.
Minnesota or Boston? KG.
Minnesota. MVP Minnesota.
We talking big ticket KG.
Big ticket KG.
They give you good size, good defense.
Pause.
It gives you a way to make up for the Steph being the weak link on defense on that squad with the size of KG. I like it. It's on you, Quet.
Okay, so you talking about the backcourt?
Yeah, backcourt.
You gotta give us the
do everything now, but yeah, you on the backcourt. Why should you do the backcourt then just fill out the rest?
So, like I said, Steph, Jordan, KD.
KD?
Yeah, KD. And if I want to switch out KD, like I said, KD he can definitely play, both sides. But if I were to take anyone out, it'll be KD, and I'll put in, Pippen, because I think that Jordan and Pippen, they're gonna be able to. Yeah, I already said it. Kind of hide some of Steph's defensive deficiencies, but if Steph, wherever he's shooting from, he letting that thing go, so he's fine.
Steph gonna let that yapper go.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna let it go. So we good in that department.
Steph's gonna be Steph, and I don't think this is a blasphemy. Steph gonna be by far the best shooter on that court.
Oh yeah,
and it ain't gonna be close.
Oh yeah.
It ain't gonna be close. He's gonna be the best shooter on that.
Definitely.
At all.
Definitely. It's I have no problem with that. I have no problem saying that. But if I wanted to, take off Steph's, because I wanted a bit of the nostalgia, if you will, then I'll put a Penny in there. You know what I mean? Just to see how Penny doing. You know what I mean? Just to get all those weapons around a Penny. But
one thing about that Lakers squad is, they're long everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you talking point guard all the way up to center. I mean, we talking 6'6", 6'6", 6'8", 7-footer, like which is why I wanted to go more in the range of, since I'm going Timmy and Hakeem, who are smaller big men already. I mean, big, don't get me wrong, but smaller big men already. Then I need to stay my front court. I mean, my back court. They got to be tall, so I can't have Steph in there. Steph is 6'3", too small. I need to have Mike 6'6", Pippen 6'8", 6'7", Larry 6'7", 6'8", just to kind of balance some stuff out. But I like Rucks putting KG in there, because then you going 6'10", 6'11", 6'10". You had KD, right? No, KG. I'm sorry. So yeah, 6'11", 6'10", 6'10", 6'6". Who was your point, Steph?
Steph,
and then 6'3". So I mean, kind of can balance it out. Steph should be able to run circles around Magic. It's not like Magic was this great defender.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was thinking that too. So check this out, right? Even if we went this way, if we changed up the lineup and added somebody, if I went different, I would even go different to attack them in the form of Jordan at the 1, McGrady at the 2, Grant Hill at the 3, KG at the 4, Hakeem at the 5.
I see it.
Because now they're gonna have to double. They're gonna have to double with Magic's men. So if you double Mike, and Mike is throwing it off to Tracy McGrady, or if he's throwing it off to a Detroit Grant Hill, That's going to be ugly. That's
Mm.
going to be ugly on the other side. So it just poses problems. But I think it's a lot. But clearly, the Lakers have had the crux of the NBA talent, all time NBA talent through their franchise.
Yeah.
Boston, a historic franchise too. I still think that I don't think they beat the Lakers, but I think they compete because even with the younger Boston Celtics you're talking about, remember they had a young Chauncey Billups. Remember, don't forget
Antoine
employee
Walker.
number 8. Don't forget employee number 8. Don't forget Paul Pierce. Don't forget that, Ray Allen did make his way through there. So there have been some really good Celtics that have been there that could make that really interesting.
Definitely could. Definitely could. Because you know what? I think that again, this is just, hyperbole here, but when you're talking about what decade we're playing in, and when we're talking about, let's just say again, I'm just spitballing here, right? I'm thinking 2K, right? Let's just say we get all these players, and then we're gonna say, okay, they're gonna play in 2021. They're gonna get the 2021 treatment. That's talk about the training, the sneakers, everything. You gotta think of like Bob Cousy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think about what Bill Russell would have been. You know what I'm saying? So those again, and just that that Laker presence. I mean, I'm sorry, the Celtic presence. So it would be definitely very very interesting to have this. Again, we can't duplicate this on the video games. That's what makes it so good because we can't say, okay, well, let's simulate this. Let's put the people in a place and let's see what happens. Let's roll with it. But it would definitely be dope. Definitely be dope because, like you said, because the Celtics by themselves are like another NBA team.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Just think about what James Harden has been able to do over the last 5 years in terms of just getting to the free throw line, right? Could you imagine if they couldn't touch Mike? What that would look like?
Could you imagine?
If they couldn't touch him?
Right. Crazy.
Boy.
But you also gotta remember, like, Mike wasn't as competitive on the 3-point line as he could have been. He was kind of kind of taking it easy because
it was late in his career.
His game was more so the driving game. He's like, yo, I'm going to embarrass you. But it was definitely will be interesting. It would definitely be interesting to see that. And it's one of those things where we are always going to talk about it. But it's, again, like with 2K now, you can kind of just put everybody together. You can say, okay, well, who can stop this Lakers 6? Well, also, like you said, we can throw a Lakers whole team in there. Who could stop them? Because I'm thinking of my man James Worthy. You know what I'm saying?
James.
That's what I'm thinking of. Because I know people kind of dismiss it. Well, we don't, because we understand the people that know ball. But again, what James Worthy did. I mean, Magic said it. James Worthy taught me so much. You know what I mean? Like, we learn from each other. But because he was on the Lakers, if he had been on another team, he would have definitely been looked at as a superstar.
Listen, people don't even understand how good Michael Cooper was.
Yes.
For real.
You talk about an early Kawhi. Boy.
With the curl.
Oh, we got Kawhi on possibly that Spurs team, too.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much we think of Kawhi?
But also when you're talking about making a team, deep, again, we're not talking about, our situation here, but it's still kind of relevant to what AC Green, you know what I mean? Just what he provided for that Lakers team, so definitely would have been dope. Definitely dope, man. So yeah, I kind of like the Lakers a little more now myself. Well, now, I'm a Lakers fan, so
Of course you do.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, you guys are right. You guys are right. Now, again, people that are watching, I hope people are still with us. Again, this is our first time we letting it go. Chris, I was watching this it was a little choppy, but I mean, not too bad. Not too bad.
Just the video.
It looks good, though. It looks good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep on working on it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep on doing it. And all right, Chris, I know we gotta go. We will be going shortly.
Once you get out of Facebook jail.
I know. You know what I mean? Listen, I'm still here. You know, so we're gonna try to do it again. You know, with Facebook, see what happens. But you know, we'll keep it going. On that note, thanks again for tuning into another edition of Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast. I'm your boy, Professional Sutton.
And I'm your boy, Chris G.
And it's your boy, The Ruck Report. Cheers.
Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast. I'm your boy, Professional Sutton.
And I'm your boy, Chris G.
And it's your boy, The Ruck Report, a.k.a. Jerry.
Ready?
This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game.
Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished.
This is Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast.
X about me.
With Professional Sutton.
You already know.
Chris G.
My homie.
And the Rucker Report.
My family, what up?
They for real.
All straight with no chaser.
Let the games begin.
Let's go. Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast.